Warning, this program contains strong language and content that might require actual thought and critical thinking. Viewer discretion is advised. It's that time. Time to kick off your shoes, time to get grounded and reclaim your magic, and time to fly. We are the Barefoot Bangarang Tribe, and this is Tarot with an Attitude, featuring the Bangarang man himself, the Reverend Rob Lee. Good evening, everybody. What's happening in the Bangarang world? This is Tarot with an Attitude. I am your host, the Reverend Rob Lee. Trying some night stuff out. Let's see what's happening. Bangarang. Bangarang. The source, remember, whatever you put out, that's what you get back. Got a good show tonight. Got a special guest here you're going to love. Let's say hello, people coming in. But Bridget. Hola. Bridget is live. She is talking to us from Cancun. They left for Cancun. They are there and having a ball. So I hope you're going to have to tell me all about it. I know Mr. Bruce is going to be on News, Dudes, and Tunes with me later in the week from the beach, or at least with the beach behind it. But welcome. Glad y'all are there. Had a safe flight. Everything get going. What's up with the what up? I know, me losing my mind a little bit. Everything's happening. You know how that is. I think Gillian's rubbing off on me. We'll blame it on Gillian. She'll be here in a little bit. So, Serenity Love Nails, good to see you here. Glad you were there. I love the name, Serenity Love Nails. That's just really cool. Michael, yo, what's up? What's happening? Glad to see everybody here. The door's opening, people crawling out, coming through, putting their food in their mouth. Let's see what's going on. Hey, tonight, you are welcome. Later on, or as we go through the show, if you have any questions, little reminder for some new people. We are on about 5 to 6 different channels right now. So you may be alone in one channel, but you're not alone here in the whole chat. Put your questions in. We'll get to it and see what's going on. But, you know, I got a young man with me. I've had him on the show before. And, you know, I just love the way his thought, his mind works, everything else. So I'm going to read you a little about him. He's fixing to start his own channel, and he had to write this out for me. The Ouroborean Butterfly. Look for it coming soon on YouTube, but I will support Ryan. He is a great young man, and let's see what's happening. In alternative media sources where individuals turn to get a break from the negative bombardment of mainstream news, spiritual truth circles, and even some ascension groups, they are unfortunately met by devastating notifications. On this channel, we will be discussing the positive impact upon the planet right now and what you can do as a co-creative, unique being with the storybook called Life. On this channel, you'll find positive reinforcement and solution-oriented interviews to current world issue. It is okay to address the problem. The issue is that people keep getting lost in it. Brother, this is your theme. I love it. This is it. Simply spread the word about current issues and political and world affairs is not going to stop the problems. News reporting is one aspect to the entirety of our growth. There are many other seats to fill, some for you, the viewer. This is the place to get connected to like-minded individuals implementing change here and now. Not just talking about somebody else coming to fix the problem. Ryan Young, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. I'm looking at a mixing board so I can have my applause coming for you. How are you this evening, sir?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I am good. So, Ouroborean Butterfly. Help the old man understand. What's that about?
So I took the inspiration from the Ouroboros serpent, as you've seen in different mythological things, is that snake that eats its tail, and it represents the cycles of time, right?
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. I've got it in some of my cards.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a big symbol, and what it is essentially saying, like, time is circular, repeats itself. All of these slogans and whatever that you've heard. The butterfly is kind of taken from the idea of the butterfly effect. So if a butterfly flaps its wings, it'll cause change. And that concept of how I'm using it is you are that butterfly. You, the viewer, all of us as co-manifestors, co-creators, are that butterfly that can manifest change within the cycles of time or the storybook. So from the bio that you just read, my channel really wants to focus on how we can start implementing solutions to what we see in the world around us, right? And manifest positive things for our lives, as opposed to consistently focusing on what the negative is or how close we are to the collapse so that we can finally rebuild. And or we're going from the 3D to the 5D, all these things. It's like, well, why are we always leaving where we're at? If everything is the here and now, which a lot of people agree on, then shouldn't we be focusing on transmuting the here and now, starting with the man in the mirror? And that's really what that's what the symbol is. I'm still developing the logo, but that's what it is. That's what it represents.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I do believe you're right. We get a lot of people standing on the street corner in their certain things yelling about the problem. I got news for you. We already know what the problem is. What's the solution to it? And that was, when I was in the corporate world and do business, people would come at me bitching and complaining. Whoa, 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 whoa. So what's your solution? Well, I just no. I'm more than willing to listen, but give me your idea of how to fix it. And I don't think there is enough talk about how to fix these different problems other than radical things that we know aren't going to happen. But let's talk about it. Hey, let me welcome Tammy Sprinkle in. I have not seen you in forever. Bangarang, you're now here in Florida. I got to find out where. Lisa Ben Susan is moving to Florida. They're looking for a house. So many people. We're going to have our own Florida branch of the Barefoot Bangarang tribe. So we're going to have to figure out a place over like Ocala somewhere, that we can all get together and meet in the middle and have a good time. Have a dinner, have lunch, have a weekend or something like that. I'll throw cards. We'll get other people like Susan in. Brian, you get involved in it and do those. But welcome, Tammy. I had to say hi. Glad to see you here. Other people, Ryan, saying hi and welcome to the tribe. Let's see what's going on. Have I ever had you on Tarot with an Attitude, or was it that other show? I can't remember.
So, Decoding Our Lives, but I've done a session with you personally.
Yes. Okay. That's where it is. So for most of my people, this is their first time actually seeing you or whatnot. So I really want them to be able to come in. And letting y'all know, already looking at a piece of equipment, that mixer thing, or we're actually going to be able to implement call-in radio. Okay. We're going to have a phone number for people to call in, talk, and let's see what's happening. So for right now, you know what? If somebody wants to call in, 321-506-4224. That's my number. Call in. We'll see if I even just put it on speaker. We put it up to the microphone and see if it works. 321-506-4224. Gillian's going to kill me. But so, all right. So with you in that, Ryan, what brought you there? What's been through your life that you're just like, okay, we got to start talking solutions?
Okay, so I had heard about a lot of the negative stuff that's going on, cabal type groups or whatever, back in 2011. And I remember hearing a lot of it and being like, that seems pretty, wild. I don't know how they'd ever implement a lot of that stuff on a global scale. And then we're kind of seeing it, right? Then I got like that kind of big awakening, I guess everybody got in the 2020 timeframe, a lot of stuff coming out. And when you hear some of those really dramatic things, some of the darker things, you're like, okay, I'm listening to this, I'm hearing this. What do I do about it? As somebody who is in the special operations teams in the Marine Corps, if I hear something about a problem of that level, it's like, what do I do about it? Where can I get employed? And there was never any of that on these shows. And for what's it been going on 2 years now? I was, for about a year, I was watching these shows. 2021, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Everybody was talking about, I don't want to watch the news anymore. It's all this negative stuff. So then the truther movement, which has been around forever, by the way, but starts doing the same thing. you're going there, you're almost getting your daily dose of trauma, and they're not telling you anything what you can do about it. So you're like, wow. And then they've got you on the edge of your seat. It's almost like it's a form of entertainment at this point, like a weird, like horror movie form of entertainment. And you're like, I got to tune in. I got to see where are we at? What percentage are we to being complete? When's whoever coming back? And it's like, nobody was saying like, what are you doing? And if you have ever looked in like manifestation principles, it's you, it's empowering you. And if what you're watching and reading and doing is not empowering you or empowering you to make a change, then it's wasting your time. In my opinion.
Absolutely. And I tell people all the time, and I've started reiterating with the bangerang, you know, what you get out, you get, or what you put out, you get back.
Right.
One of the things I talk about is what you put in a lot of time is what you get out. And I'm not saying either thing is wrong. I'm not going to go there because I'm just not, there's people here I respect or whatnot. And I don't want people get so heated, they don't understand when you're not taking a stance either way about a problem. And that's a problem when all we're doing is filling up ourselves with negativity. And then we wonder why we're so low frequency, low vibration, things like that. We know what's going on. You don't need to put it in your head every day. What you need to do is step back and start putting your healing light out to the world and say, let's say a prayer. Take your meditational time, put that healing light out to other people, that people will find the solution, find the way for clarity. You know, Tara, good to see you. Welcome. We are the Barefoot Bangerang Tribe. Everybody reach up, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell. Because that way I'm kind of popping on all different hours now, things like that. I'll be back on tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock for the Tarot with an Attitude, the normal show, 10 a.m. Eastern, so be ready. But if any of y'all have any questions as we're going through here, go ahead and put them in. We're going to chill. We're going to do this, but it's a place. If you have something you want to say or something you want to talk about, bring it up. We'd love to hear it. So, all right. So when Ryan, where do we start? Where does this start?
Where does I think
the problems have gotten so big. I think most of us on an individual level don't think we can do anything about it except scream about it. And go ahead.
Oh, I was going to. So the citizen journalism portion is a portion of the movement. What I think has become the problem, part of the problem, is that people think that's all the movement is. Well, we just got to spread the word. Well, if you're just spreading the word, nobody's doing anything. It doesn't. If we all know, right? We all know this person's corrupt or this issue's happening. That doesn't stop anything because we didn't put any action to the faith. It's almost like faith without works is dead. Like, you know, but you're not implementing. And I think one of the biggest things is bringing connection back. Like, for example, you said, let's all meet up in Ocala. I live here. I got an acre, and I'd love to have fellow Bangerang people or any kind of soul family that wants to get together and talk. One of the things I'm implementing, and I can't go too much into it right now because I'm building it out, but essentially is building a franchisable template model for developing sustainable communities that people can get in on. So landowners can get in on, developers can get in on. And what this is doing is, because you've probably heard a lot of people talking about, man, I really just wish I could go live in an off-grid community somewhere. But I don't really want the cult aspect, or I don't want to become Amish or whatever. They don't want to have to do something, but they want to get out of the system because they see something weird is going on. And a lot of people are like, well, how do we do it? So what I started developing was, it's because it's something I wanted to do as well. And what I've done here is, I have producible land. I have my own well. I have my solar panels. So I'm getting myself off the grid. And now that I've done that, I was like, I really want to bring that to other people. And I want to be able to leverage the assets of what we have in America to help pull everybody together to take the system back over. Because the way it works is, you know, people think, well, I just got to protest, right? People that go on a protesting rally, right, to a government that knows what the law is, because half of them like went to law school. You know, like, you know what the Constitution says. You screaming and reminding them is almost like you getting abducted by a serial killer and petitioning to him, hey, don't kill me, that's illegal. Oh, I'm sorry, let me return you now. It's
You're right. They know the loopholes more than anybody.
Yeah. And even if you found out, they're like, we own the courts, so I don't care. So what it is you have to say, well, how is it working then? Well, capital and network, they have the people in place, they have the money. So we have to come up with systems that can circulate that supply of money to our programs, right? And that network and built, but what they've been doing, people in general, what they do if they want to disenfranchise the other side is they segregate them and they come in between the communication. That's why I was saying getting back together, right? And instead of worrying about what the latest news is about whatever medical issue or things shutting down or who's in office or whatever, it's like it doesn't really matter because we still have all the power. But you got to put your attention there. Like what you said, what you put in is what you get out. That's manifestation, and what you put out is what you get back. So let's focus really on solution-oriented stuff. We can still talk about the issue because the issue is what is, provoking the solution,
Right. And I think other people, I'm going to put that up. There's Ryan's email, the Ryan H. Reynolds at gmail.com. If you want to reach Ryan while he's in the process of building this, I love having it on somebody that's saying, I'm building something because you know what? Down here, maybe some people need help. Maybe we need to find out what's going on. And you know what? There might be a like-minded person goes, click, reach out to Ryan. He'd love to talk to you, hear you, or whatnot. I love this idea because if we could literally wind up separating from corporate America with gas, food, electric, things like that, we're putting a lot of power back in our hands. Problem is with somebody like me, man, I'm too addicted to the AC. So I got to make sure I got my power grid to handle my 3-ton unit or whatever it is. I don't know. I ain't no AC guy. 74 is about the highest my thermostat ever goes, and in the evenings it's 72. But we do, and I say that kind of poking fun at myself. It's one of those things where we get. So my wife just came in. Hello, baby doll. Say hello to the world if you want to. Come here. Hello, world. Come on. They know you. They see you on Saturday. You can pop in. She's gonna kill me. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, good evening. Y'all watch this. Give me a kiss. All right, love you. Need more of that going on. So, but we get so tuned in to how some of these ideas will affect us personally. We don't look at, maybe I need to be able to open a window, turn on a fan if it's going to help a global community. So
what I want to do, that was the other thing. People don't want to leave their way of life, and I don't want people to leave their way of life. We need to modernize sustainable living, and we can because we have solar panels as energy source. There's no limitation of stuff. That's fake. That's a facade. We can utilize the solar panels, and if you had 2 batteries, you could run your whole AC unit and store all of the power and be completely disconnected from the grid if you wanted to. It's not what the slogan I'm using is insulated, not isolated, because I want you to still be involved in the world. I don't want to segregate you from the world, but I want you to be insulated if there's a collapse. We literally are implementing our own currency system backed by precious metals. So that would create a circulatable fiat, which allows us to, and remember, because we're on producible farms, we're on a production asset. If it all shuts down, if everything's shut down, the best thing to have is land and water and electricity if you can, because you're a producer asset, right?
Right.
That's what the economy will be built off of. So my investment strategy of what I tell people, my diversification portfolio is precious metals as your securities because they're a scarcity in the world. Cryptos as your futures because they're booming. You can hit moonshots, but be careful. That's why we're diversifying. And then land, because if shit hits the fan, you hit your land, right? That's where you sustain that, or know somebody who has it. It's almost like when, and I'm not saying there's a collapse that's going to happen, but if there were, right, a Great Depression, millionaires were minted from that. If you know how the game is played, you will walk out of this. You will manifest the reality you want. And when you do that, it is then your job to provide the space for the rest of the people to come to. That's how we change the world.
That's an awesome way of thinking, is not looking at the disaster that is happening right now, but looking at this is an opportunity. So how do we embrace it? How do we move through it? You're up in the Ocala area. Tammy said she's not too far away. I spent 5 years of my life in a little town called Chiefland up there, where I was actually the senior police officer over there. And Tammy was bringing up, the nice, cool, clean spring water, your spring water, well water or whatnot. When I brought my kids home to visit my parents from Melbourne, yes, we had to bring bottled water. It was like going to Mexico, because we had all fresh spring, coming out of Manatee Springs. It's fresh spring water, and my kids would get really sick. So yeah, we need to get back into that type of water. Lauren, good to see you. Absolutely. Lauren, is there something specific you wanted a reading about, or were you looking for a general reading? So I'm on several different channels, so you can just pop it in there. I'll look. And if I don't hear from you in a minute, we will go right on. Hey, Lauren Mayfield, let's see what's happening. It looks like we have people in here that know each other. Good deal. AGD McCoy, glad to see you here. Welcome. This is the Barefoot Bangarang Tribe. We do believe in yelling bangarang and reminding ourselves what we put out is what we get back. And one of the things we do is we do believe in energy. Ryan is here talking about what the stuff that's going on about building a sustainable community. So, and that's what's happening. That's what's going on. Al, so you would like a reading. So Ryan, I'm going to take a break here. Let me do a couple of readings for some people. All right. And Al would like a general reading. So let's go there. Al, I'm going to whip it around like this. Okay. Boom. So the cards get a little bigger. All right. I'm using the Lost Tarot for you. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, my lovely wife's making me coffee. I smell it. I smell it. I smell it. Coffee and water. That's all I drink anymore. I don't drink tea. I drink a cold infused tea, but I'm really getting away from any chemicals or whatnot. And man, makes me feel so much better. Whatever's happening. Al, general reading. Let's see where we're going here. Let's find out what Spirit's got to say. Our most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, one and the same, guides, angels, open our hearts and messages. Keep me out of the way. Let the messages flow so I see them. And may we be open to anything that you have to say. So mote it be. So here we go. All right, Al, taking a look here real quick. And Ryan, when I'm doing a reading, if something strikes you, pop in. I see some worry. I see things that are happening that you need to let go of. What I'm getting here, really big, the Six of Cups. Feeding that inner child, understanding what's happening. There's something in the past, but this is worry, all this Ten of Swords, all this communication, all of this fretfulness, it's coming to an end. It's time to step out and act like a kid again. And remember, you can love. Nurture your soul, nurture your heart. And some of that's what Ryan's talking about. We have to nurture and take care of ourselves, okay? Talk to the younger you. It's time for you to kind of step away and be alone and look at what's worked for you and what hasn't, okay? Don't look so much to other people. Free yourself, free your mind. I always say on the show, free your mind, your ass will follow. So, Al, one of the things I'm seeing here with the Hermit is stepping away and looking for guidance and saying, what's going on? What's happening in my life? What has worked? What hasn't? What do I need to step away from? I see that as being a huge thing for you right now. I've got the Page of Swords, that new thought, new mindfulness. It's learning a new way to live and learning a new way to think is going to be massively important. The Queen of Swords, all of these are swords. So you've got this whole mental thing going on around you right now. And the Queen is here reminding you, you have to take care of yourself. Your thoughts, your desires, your drives, that's going to be what's there. And finally, the Seven of Swords, so much. Feeling pulled in so many different directions. You got to kind of look at what's going on. Don't be so willing to act. Don't. You're being very reactionary, okay? And what I want you to do is stop, and the sevens are there to say, assess, take a look. I think you actually feel cheated on. You've been felt like disloyal, some people have been disloyal to you or whatnot, let it go. It's time to walk alone. That's what that hermit is saying. Step away, break free, free your mind, and everything will follow with it. Stop worrying about all that crap that went on in the past. Boom, bangarang. That's what's happening. Who was that for? That was Al. There we go. So Tammy, my great grandfather had a farm and feed the people during the Depression. You know, do you really think if we hit a depression and if we go off end of days and thinking about revelations and whatnot, feeding the people is going to be the issue? And the whole thought process is going to be, how do I make money on this? But at some point, when does the love for our fellow human beings come in and go, it's time for us to do this to help each other rather than trying to make a buck? What do you think, Ryan?
As far as, doing things of service for people, I think when people kind of move out of that is when they're in that kind of scarcity mindset and they're afraid and they're like, well, me and my family first, which isn't a bad way to be if it kind of gets, obviously you got to take care of your own family. But that's why I'm saying for people, what I'm really wanting to do with the network is leverage everybody's assets so that we have an abundance here, pull our assets back into our country, not being owned from outside of our country. And then we'll easily be able to take care of each other. And we're going to, all of us together, build our economy, not have somebody else do it. Everybody will get to be a part, and you will love being alive because you will see purpose in what you're doing,
Exactly. And you know what? It's ironic when I'm doing readings for people, when I'm working with people in many different areas. Yep, Lauren, we're going to cut that and we're going to get you next right here real quick. But how many people don't understand their purpose? They feel lost in this world. And I think that's where a lot of this media blast from either side and everything, it's divide and conquer. And when we don't feel like we have any direction, that's when we're at our weakest, and I hear that a lot, So, Tammy, you're at Morriston. Holy crap. All right. I actually was deputized for like 3 or 4 different counties in that area and was in and out doing some stuff or whatnot in police work. This was way back in the 80s. So y'all hang on to your hats. I quit police work because I could see what was coming and I didn't like what was happening. Levy County. Love it, love it, love it. It's a beautiful place. I took Gillian there, went and took her to Cedar Key and showed her Chiefland and everything else and went spring hopping. So that's what's going on. So glad to see you there. So Lauren, you want to know, is there anything the universe wants me to know? There is always something the universe wants people to know if we open up and listen. So let's take a look. We will ask the question, what does the universe want her to know? Lauren. So concentrate for me a little bit. I'm looking at which deck I'm going to use here. Might be sticking with that deck. I let Spirit talk to me because different times, different images are in the different decks or whatnot. So let's go here. We are going to the Archangel Power Tarot deck, and let's see what we have here from the angels. Ryan, while I'm talking about angels and we're talking about the universe and what the universe wants me to know, do you believe in angels?
I've heard so many different things. I've heard because I guess our concept of angels for most people comes biblical, right? I know
right.
Angels are in other religious books as well. I've heard, some people's interpretation of the Bible is it's aliens, which I guess angels could be considered that because it's just
they're from another plane, yeah.
So I think that's what aliens is too, essentially. Like, it's just it's different forms of life at different levels of intelligence, right? So yeah, absolutely, I do believe in angels. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I ask everybody that comes on the show. It's starting to be my thing about what people believe in as far as angels or whatnot or helping different things. So, Lauren, what I have here, Okay. What I'm seeing here is a situation that you've been involved in that's going to require a lot of strength to get through and to be able to walk away from it. I see some hurt and pain here. The Three of Michael is talking about release the past. You will grow from this situation. Sometimes we're in challenging situations and we do not understand. It's like, why does this keep happening? And a lot of time, life wants us to learn from something, and we haven't learned our lesson yet. So this was actually very painful and it hurt you, and it was more of a mental. But a lot of times when we're hurt in our brain and in our head, we're hurt in our heart. So I see this, but you have angels in your presence, Lauren. You have spirit guides, you have things around you that are there to help you and carry you through when this happens. Don't lose faith. It's time to march on. There's some new thing you're looking at, stepping away from. Take a leap of faith. And one of the most important things I love about this card, Lauren, is remember to believe in yourself. A lot of times we allow other people's thoughts because they've told us. I went through a whole thing and I didn't know it till later in life. I had my master's in social work, and while I was getting that, a lot of things were like aha moments for me in my own childhood. And one of the things was my dad used to use the word stupid constantly. And he would tell me, Rob, doesn't a voice ever, or Robbie, my parents call me Robbie. Robbie, doesn't a voice ever come to you and say, hey, stupid, this is going to get you in trouble. This doesn't look like it's going to work. So therefore I came up with this whole mentality and I was angry because I've always felt like I was making different decisions than other people. When actually, once I found out, I started opening up and listening, my different decisions were taking me on a different path. And I'm not stupid. So it led me down a path of my bangarang stuff of whenever I made a mistake, man, I'm so stupid. Man, I'm so stupid. Well, think about 50 plus years of putting I'm so stupid out to the universe. That bad thing. So out of creature of habit, muscle memory, things like that, I'll say, I'm so stupid. Now I don't say it anymore. I literally broke my habit because I would be like, I'm not stupid. I'm highly intelligent. Now I just have to look at it and learn how to work the problem. And that's what I'm seeing here for you. Work the problem. I'm really picking up being put down by somebody else or something else has taken your self-esteem. You are okay. You need to take this leap of faith and you need to go with it. The Queen of Raphael, you are loved. You can be loved. Everything is there. You have to nurture your own happiness, your own well-being, your own light. The Seven of Raphael, look how we're getting into all the Raphael, happiness, decisions. It is time for you to make some decisions. And guess what? You can make those decisions based on what you want. You don't always have to make the logical decision. Allow yourself to be happy in here too. Go for it. Reach out for it. Nine of Gabriel. You got another fight in you. Keep moving. Your garden's growing. You planted it. You've got a lot of passion and desire around this and moving forward. Grab it, move on. There's something you're trying to start or do or move on. I'd love to talk to you more about it. Book a session. I'll be glad to go into it with you. But make your plans and move on. Bangarang. That's really cool. That's really cool. Those were cool cards. Oh, so anything I say in there, Ryan, let me know what you think whoop, there we go. Helps if I hit the right button. StreamYard has way too many buttons, when as much as I talk. So what would you tell somebody you've been through some rough stuff? You're in the military, you're a Marine, or whatnot. But what about your life? Tell us a little about your life.
Current life or some like historical in the Marines and stuff?
What brought Ryan to where he is today? We know that the idea came through him about it's time to get something started. But it takes a strong person to do and be in this thought process that you're in. All right, let me put it this way. What was one of the biggest obstacles you had to overcome to get to this way of thinking?
So I think a lot of it was a lot of my life kind of was going through developmental periods. I think one thing when you're doing a really big project is you have to have a balanced masculine and a feminine type energies, right? Because you have to have compassion for people to want to build out a community structure or help people in any way, right?
Yes.
But you have to have that kind of tough masculine aspect to be able to really stand the test when a system is going through a transmutation period, because there's going to be people of the old system who don't want to lose their leverage in the game, and you're kind of taking it over, or you're just switching it, right? So you have to be able to stand against that and be firm and strong. So before I went to the military, which I would say is where I kind of developed that aspect, I went to massage therapy school, and actually just recently finished an advanced training too. And that was in a very spiritual, open, alternative environment, about 9-to-1 female to male ratio. So it was very feminine energy. And it was a really good time to develop a lot of my kind of intuitive skills, and some really compassionate projects. The way the community concept was born out of was actually I wanted to franchise wellness centers, because I wanted to take out big pharma as this kind of monopolization of medicine, Western medicine, which is kind of something I'm never was really for. I'm very alternative, natural based, Mother Earth. I love that kind of stuff. That's what really led me to massage school. Because I studied breath work before that with a guy named Leonard Orr, who was pretty big in the 1970s. He did something called rebirthing breath work. So I trained with him out in Virginia. So it started with that, and that is a component of the community's wellness aspect. But then I really realized.
So you want to include this whole wellness idea in your idea of a community type of support.
With the franchise model, when we put that template out, it's kind of like if you were to, all that's doing is it's giving you a groundwork to go off of. So within that, there's going to be kind of, we'll call them subsidiaries. And one of that's the wellness aspect. You can have wellness centers on your communities. So you and the way I want to run them is have like an actual full set program with like Ayurvedic medicine, ancient Chinese medicine, acupuncture and stuff, and then have a Western practitioner on there, but not doling out pharmaceutical medication. And this is where the insulated, not isolated comes into place, because if you want to go utilize an ER or do pharmaceuticals, that's fine. I don't want to stop you. That's just not what I want to provide as a solution. So,
right. And I'm glad to hear you say that, because I do know not every problem. I mean, medicine has its place. We've just become so dependent on it. And some of that comes from that quick, easy fix. We don't want to work through anything. We don't want to feel hurt. Well, pain is there to remind us something's wrong, So we'd rather just ignore it. And in coming up with that plead to get somewhere, our humanity lost the idea of, okay, it's more humane to dope everybody up and get them out of pain than it is to teach them there are alternative ways to deal with pain, and let's figure some things out. We don't want to work at it. So, but there are some things where there actually do come into mental health that and other things where there is a chemical situation that is not going to be rectified through meditation. It's just not. Now, I'm not saying God can't take care of it, that we might not literally be able to sit down at some point when we're able to grab our energy and do what we've been told, that, through my faith, others shall be healed. When we get to that point, then yes, we could gather around on Ryan's community, have a healing circle. I would love that. And I believe that's possible.
Yeah.
But until we get there, some things do require medicine. And I'm glad to hear you embrace that, again, I think that's a good step forward. Just because we don't all believe in the same thing doesn't mean it has to be hate infused or, even negativity infused.
Right. And one of the things with the communities is I'm not telling you what not to do. And I don't want to ever tell you what to stop doing. I just want to incentivize you to do something better for yourself. And that's really looking at things like, are you doing something to not lose, or are you doing something to win? Are you know what I mean? Like half full, half empty type mentality. So it's always,
exactly,
where I kind of fit in and what I want to provide.
And working with addictions, I had a big thing when I started bringing tarot into it. I went ahead and took my office, turned it into, had all the I was literally using the Tao Te Ching for people to read different things like that, get into it, and understand a whole new philosophy about themselves. I'm not going to tell you not to smoke dope. I'm not going to
Right.
tell you not to snort anything. Is this the life you want?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Because and that was an amazing thing for me. So Gina, let's talk about you real quick here. These cards are for you. What I see is you breaking out of a situation. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You are breaking free. It may not necessarily have been the absolute way you wanted to end, but you're emerging from some type of conflict, some type of thing that you've been through. And the three of Ariel is there to say, what did you learn from it in this physical world? Threes are about creativity and collaboration, working with other people. And Ariel is in the real world. So there are some other people involved, breaking free, getting back out, getting involved with your friends. And what I'm really seeing, Gina, is understanding kind of what Ryan's saying. You've got something in your head. Get like-minded people around you. Learn things together, okay? Be willing to create something beautiful, and you can. And you've got a bright and beautiful future as long as you follow that path. When I look, I've got a 6, a 3 is a 9, and a 19 would be 28. All right. I like looking at this when this happens. 28, 2, a partnership, a duality. There's a freedom in you that's going to come from a commitment with either someone else or spirit itself, or a commitment to yourself. All right. The 8, mastering, learning, understanding something new. You said, Rob, mastering and learning. Yeah. A true master never stops learning. Okay. They're always looking for new knowledge and new things. 28, bring them together. You have a 10, which is a 1. So I'm seeing this beautiful new beginning for you. So something's happening. Things are changing. Be still, listen, go with the flow. It's okay to leave some things behind, learn something new. It's all, things are on your side. Things are going to work out. Those things are happening. Bang! That's really cool. Dolores, hey, let me show this young lady. I haven't seen her in a while. Man, I can't hit the right thing to save my life tonight. I'm glad I'm not shooting tonight, because it'd be all over the place. All right, here we go. Dolores, welcome. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in such a long time. Kim, good evening, my barefoot bangarang tribe. Love it. I love it when the tribe comes together. Everybody, make sure you reach up, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share. Hey, also want to let y'all know, Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, okay? AscendedMasters.store. The link should be down below. I'm doing a live Tarot Simplified 2 class. So, Ryan, what I'm doing is I'm actually going to have people come on. If you can either be in this format or you can be on YouTube or on Zoom with me. And I'm going to work cards. We're going to show spreads. We're going to let people understand. I don't do a lot of spreads, but spreads are there. We're going to talk interpretation, intuitive, and how the right way to answer questions. So go to that site, look it up, ring it in. It's going to be fun. You're not going to want to miss it. And you need to get over there and get it done, because I know people I was on Charlie Ward's show the other day, and we talked about it, and people are already signing up for it. So I need to make sure there's room for everybody that wants to be on the Zoom call or whatnot. So, but I'm glad, yes, this could be a message for you. I always remind people whenever we're doing things in this format, Spirit's not an idiot. Okay. He knows who's listening and who's not. And sometimes people need to hear the same message. It's just like group therapy, So yes, that very well could be what's going on. So much has come to pass. I have made so much progress. Thank you for your help and support. I am so glad to hear that. Thank you. My daughter has been so much help. I'm so grateful for her love and support. That is amazing. Ryan, a lot of people I'm dealing with lately, I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting a lot of, a lot of death, a lot of grieving notifications, things like that. and it is really seems to be really apparent out there. Any thoughts on why that is? Do you think it's because the negativity in our world is so high?
Are we saying people are having loss in general?
Yes.
So one thing I was going to say with one of the, I think the second spread you did, sometimes the universe kind of gives you that 2x4. You know what I mean? You get hit with the universal 2x4. And I'm not saying if somebody dies, but I'm saying like if you see things kind of falling out of your life, like this just happened to me where all of my debit cards were hacked. So then I was stuck on credit cards. I was out.
Oh my God.
I was out of the state, so I couldn't get my new debit cards because they were all being sent home. Then my cards were being declined because I only had digital copies. So like the weirdest stuff was happening to me. Then I get home, all of my computer tabs delete. And I was like, okay, I think what's going on right now is the universe is saying you have to clear space right now because you're working with a limited hardware right here. So
Right.
you have to focus your attention. Sometimes we get distracted, and I had a lot of stuff going on. And then I just started. It's like, if you're not going to do it, then it's going to do it because it knows it's your subconscious doing it. It's bringing it to you, right? So sometimes, and I'm not saying this if you lost a loved one, but I'm saying in general, if you see loss, right? It could mean that. It could mean it's because something big is right around the corner, and we got to clear the space for it, right? Because you got to focus on that. So
Absolutely. And one of the things you got to remember, a lot of times we choose this lifeline, we choose this life timeline, the choice to be here. And one of the things we might be having to do is learning how to deal with loss, and to learning what's happening. So it's one of those things, this loss, but grief is powerful. And I'm not saying no one should grieve. I've worked with a lot of addicts, a lot of people that led them down the wrong thing because they didn't want to face the pain. But grief is meant to be felt. And the more powerful the grief is, I personally believe, the more honor it gives to the relationship. It shows how much you valued that relationship. But at the same point, we have to remember, I'm still here. I have my own life path, my own goals, things like that. It may be hard, but I'm going to have to continue on. The sun's going to come up. It's just going to change the way I see the sunrise for a while. Some of those things. So I love the way you put it. And Dolores, it is one of those things where some people, it is better. Let it sit, let some things roll out. And there are even cards in the deck that talk about take a break. You can't win every fight. We're not meant to win every fight. And sometimes it is time for spirit to work and lay on your heart. And we got to step back to find the answers. Jesus walked away for 40 days. Look at all the people that went to the wilderness, if we go to the scripture, to get clarity. That's why we have a hermit card, in the tarot. It is some of those things. And there are times it is time to just sit back, talk to your higher self, talk to your higher being, whatever that may be. It's God to me. Okay. And that's when you get to hear things speak. And sometimes they'll show us the next step in the next direction, So, Ryan, do you meditate? Where I know you were, you and I have done a lot of talking about some of the same things. Where are you at with meditation in your life? And I'm not trying. If you don't, you don't. I just want to hear, what do you do when you need that little moment alone? What does Ryan do to recenter?
Oh, I take a bath. I got this house because it had this really nice jacuzzi tub in it, and because one of the things when I went through a phase of like debilitating anxiety to the point where I couldn't even go outside because my nervous system couldn't handle. If you ever had like a CNS shock or your adrenal glands just fell apart,
Yes,
testosterone dropped or whatever it is, I don't know. The going outside where you can't know what all your surroundings are, it's too much for your nervous system. So I was literally developing like an agoraphobia, and then I was feeling out of body. So during that time, the only thing that would help me kind of, because when you go out of your body or go out of that like reality seems like a dream, you really have nothing to lean on. You have nothing to grasp. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there's no way to calm yourself down that you can think of. So what I would do is I would go into the bath and I would submerge, and it was like the heat of it and everything would just kind of pull me back in for a little bit. And then I would use that time to kind of bring myself back into reality.
Okay. So that is your form of meditation, that whatnot. And I know this. Florida boy, born and raised, fourth generation Floridian. My kids were born here. My daughter just popped in. She'll tell you, you want me to cool off? You want me to be able to get my Zen spot? Give me a pool. I need to be in the water. Like we used to go to the Swanee. We'd go to the springs all the time when I lived up there because it was just a cleansing. It was a washing. And even if I can't get to the pool, I'm in the shower. That's the way I start my day every day, you know? And sometimes in the evening, I got to get in the shower. That water is cleansing, folks. It helps. And you need to take a look at that and make sure that you're using it. It's very strong. And it is a good way to clear your mind. Don't sit in it and worry. Start concentrating mindfulness. The next week, I'm doing a mindfulness course. Feel the water around you. Feel it working its life force and be in the moment. That's one of those things that's so powerful. Yes, we can help each other and help ourselves. You know, Indigo, bangarang. Reeve, power of the spelling book. There we go. You know, Rev and Bangarang Tribe, much love and brightest blessings to all. Christina, good evening, sweetheart. Glad you are here. How's the new job treating you? Let us know, find out what's going on, except I am still here. I hear you. All right. Indigo, the knowledge I have gained throughout the years have helped me so much with grief, understanding that they are transitioning into a new level of consciousness helps with grief. Yes, it does. And there are sometimes people are just angry because I understand that, but I wanted them there with me. They're not supposed to be gone yet. And you know, we have to understand that too. You know, that's what's happening. So I agree with you so much. Thank you, Indigo. You do so much for support and the channel and everything else. It's a great idea. Hey, everybody, we're talking to Ryan H. Young. Let me put that back up here. All right. The Ryan H. Reynolds at gmail.com. Did I spell all that right, Ryan?
So my email is actually the Ryan H. Young at gmail.com.
Oh, why? You know what? Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay. Duh. Okay.
I put it.
I was looking at that. I'm like going, something's wrong here. Doesn't matter. The Ryan H. Young. So when Ryan Reynolds calls you and says, "What the hell?" You know, you can thank me for it. Okay. So let me get over here. I'm going to bring that up. I want people to be able to reach out to you because I think it's important that like-minded people stay in contact because it grows. And you know what? You said something about all of us getting together. Okay. Yeah. I think Florida people, because Becky Gregory is in Jacksonville. Other people are here in the area. Why couldn't we get together on somebody's land, have a picnic, what do they call it? Potluck, everything else, bring it up and just meet. I think the energy around that table would be crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and just meet as friends. And when we realize that this is something that people can do, I think there's going to be huge amounts of power in it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've just recently started networking into the local Ocala area because I just got here in December and I don't know anybody. So I started doing yoga classes and meeting local small businesses and stuff because we're going to launch the template model proof of work community here in Ocala. And then we're going to the blockchain, the franchisable model that people can come into. So that's going to be the reason we wanted to do it in Florida was because we're going to have DeSantis is going to have our back. We're not going to be battling any local politics, trying to build sustainable economy. But, you know, these communities are production assets. We're going to be producing for the economy, and the land is going to go up in value, and the currency is going to go up in value because it's backed by precious metals, which are up by I think silver's like $41 an ounce now.
Right.
So, yeah, what we're doing is really cool. It's going to be really awesome. We're launching it right here in Florida, right in
Cool.
Florida. Yeah.
How can people help you?
As soon as I get this model launched, then I can start telling people what we're really doing. Some of the proprietary stuff we're using. We have proprietary composite building materials for houses, which is stronger than steel. It's cheaper. We're not affected by a lot of the shipping issues. So, right, the big shipping crisis going on right now,
Right.
supply chain issues. We have our own water machines, which don't have to be connected to any water source. We have different types of
You mean you have those actually now, or just the design, or
already
because
made.
that,
Already made.
huh?
Already, yeah.
Already made.
We're going to have those put, so when people buy into the housing models on the communities, which will have sustainable farms, the water machines will be in their house and they're portable. You can take them with you wherever you go.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
Insulated,
That
not
would
insulated.
be,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, it's really just, it's giving you a base of operation. And one of the coolest things when I say franchisable, it's scalable, meaning it's going to be to multi-million dollar level housing, or even the smallest, what I call like a modernized yurt, to give somebody an asset that they can now use to collateralize further. So now they have a springboard. You know, people living inner city in an apartment, paycheck to paycheck, they can't afford anything. That's a lot of people's lives. And as cash inflates, it's getting worse and worse. So we're giving them that opportunity, you know, bringing them into an ecosystem.
I kind of agree. I think we waste a lot of resources
Yeah.
running from a problem or trying to fix it, rather than going, you know what? People are converting these cargo containers into homes very quickly, very fast, and rather than dumping them or whatnot, you know, and they're doing beautiful jobs with them. I think we need to be using more resources like that to help build homeless housing, things like that, but get them involved in building it, putting their labor and sweat into it, because you just, when you know you've got a safe place, you know, if we talk about the whole psychology of everything or whatnot, you know, one of those key components is they believe in stages of development is, am I safe and secure? If you take away that base, I don't know where I'm at 3 hours from now. We have to look at this problem and realize throwing money at it is not the sole solution. It's just not. You know,
you know how
I
people
don't know
go to
what we do.
Go to like a retreat center?
Right.
So if I can pull you out of the stress cycle that you live in and decompress you, I've turned you into a creator, because now I've given you the opportunity to focus on what your creative purpose in the world is. And that's how we're going to change things systematically, right? Because it is a safe space for you. It's your space. I want to give you your space. And I want, and that's why I'm building that scalable model, because that allows me to leverage assets. So landowners who are losing their land because they can't afford it, I can partner with them with developers. I have different models that we're going to be using that'll allow them to maintain their land and keep land in America owned.
And you got to remember, at one point, it wasn't all about money. You know, it really wasn't. It was about lifestyle. And when the doctor would come over, you'd pay him in chickens, you know, or whatever, or pigs, and we would help each other out. The Amish, when they have a barn raising, you know, those types of ideals that we are working together. That if my community, if every person in my community is happy, all right, what a community. You know, if we all know we feel safe, we feel secure amongst ourselves. And I think this is what the government doesn't want us to feel.
Exactly.
They don't realize right within our own homes and our own things that we can feel safe and secure amongst each other. They're trying to divide us over so many little things that we do. We lose sight, we lower our energy. Well, Rob, some of this stuff is that important. It is not as important as losing a bond with a human being for us to come together. That's not how we combat our problems. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Dolores is asking, and I know you don't want to give away trade secrets or whatnot. How do you have a water machine not connected to water resources?
Pull water from the moisture in the air.
I was going to go there. If you think about putting one of the survival things I learned if I was ever in the desert, taking a piece of cactus, putting it in a piece of plastic, putting it in the sun, it's going to give you water. Okay.
Yeah.
Not because the water was just the pure science of it, of the dehydrating. We learned this in back in the old police days about how you packaged evidence, because you can create moisture, with heat and different things. So that's kind of cool. What were you saying, Ryan?
So imagine we pull enough capital and network into the system to where we can build sister communities in third world countries. Now they have clean water supply, organic biodynamic farmland, housing structures that we build for them, and we build community out. Now we're restructuring their economy, right? Building it out, but not creating this like weird government that's controlled by an economic hit that we put on them,
Right.
We're actually the people, because this was one of the biggest things I've seen a lot of with the human trafficking and stuff. It's like, well, cool. How do I get involved? How do I stop it? Oh, well, you can donate. Well, I went to your website and I didn't see much information. What are you guys doing? What are the extraction teams doing? You don't know anything about it. Oh, where are merchandise? Go stand on the corner and do whatever they do. I don't know. It's good stuff, but it's just not enough for a lot of people. Like if I hear about human trafficking, I want to know how I can get in there and do something,
Right.
So this is a way where we can send you, as we build this out. I'm giving you a lot of the like projections of what I want to do, but I know we're going to be able to do it because I know who I'm partnered with and the investors we're bringing on, and what this concept really is to actually change the world that we're living in and put it back into the hands of the people. There's a system I have in place to use the federal government to buy itself out through the tax system that we're going to implement housing structure.
That would be great. That would be fantastic. Folks, if you're just coming in, we're having a conversation with the Ryan H. Young. Make sure you reach out. Let's talk about it. He's talking about building completely self-sustainable communities, not just living off the grid, but building communities of people together that working together. And he's got some fantastic idea, and he's getting a large backing. Also, I'm here. You want to ask a tarot question? Ask a tarot question. Throw it out there. We'll do it. We've been reading for people as they come in earlier or whatnot. We're not limited to this conversation. Kim, good to see you. Welcome. Bangarang. What's going on? And that's what, that's where we're at. Dolores, what he's talking about is coming to a point where it's not just one person. It's where he's trying to get away from the concept of having to have a mortgage, all that stuff, whereas a community that comes together, it's supplied. The resources are pooled together a different way. And like what he was just talking about, really actually billing out. I know you can get money back from the government or different people for having your power cells, different things like that. Where the government's supposed to pay you a certain percentage. So these are some of the things he's talking about. Did you want to touch on that, Ryan? How much does this cost, or did I kind of get the concept out there?
Yeah, how much does it cost? So there, like I said, scalable will be different levels of buy-in. That way we can leverage big money too to pool fund it. You know what I mean? Because we want to bring that capital in and change that to the new currency system. So it depends on what you're doing in the communities. To touch on one thing that you said, Rob, when you said utilizing things like the shipping containers. Have you heard of Earthship Homes?
No.
Earthship does a very similar thing, not with shipping containers, but utilizing like recyclable things to build homes with. I was going to go to one of their retreats in this month, actually, but a lot of stuff has happened because I really want to touch base with them and see if there's a way that I can implement them in the system of, how they do housing models and stuff.
That would be cool. I'd love to know more about it. I'd love to know more about it. What have you got there?
I got the Archangel Michael deck, Doreen Virtue. These are high value now because of the whole Doreen Virtue situation.
Yeah, she's not even producing. She stepped away. So if
Yeah.
you've got a Doreen Virtue deck, hang on to it. You might be able to, it might be like a Beanie Baby in the McDonald days. What was the other one?
That was the Angel Tarot that she did with Radley Valentine.
Yep.
And I actually did a course back when I was like 17. I did a course that her and Radley put on and got certified in angel tarot reading for fun.
Right. The deck I'm using, the Archangel Power Tarot deck, the one that I was using just a little bit ago, it's a Radley Valentine deck.
I love it.
You know,
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, I do too. Colette Baron Reed has some great decks. The artwork, but a lot of hers revolve around, they're more oracle decks. They're not tarot decks. And they revolve around this beautiful artwork. But you know, oracle decks for people can actually be very confusing because there's no basis to them. You have to learn each individual deck and what that creator wanted in it. My wife, the Lost Tarot deck that I was using, I'll bring it up so you can see it. My wife's on a big push, and I think she's right. We love Colette Baron Reed. So if you're listening, I'd love to interview you because I love your decks. I've got almost every one of them. But you remember when I was using this deck, okay? And I'm going to bring the artwork up, okay? So people can actually see it a little better, all right? Then these are some cards from previous readings. But this artwork is so fantastic. It's so in your face and it's good. But it's an independent. I can't even remember the guy's name. I normally have the deck here. I think the box is out on the porch where we're doing our readings the other morning. All right. But there are independents that are building their own decks and they're going through Kickstarter, places like that. Please look at Kickstarter and support these artists because you're going to see Rob and Gillian are going to be on there fairly quickly. We have already started, Ryan. We started building the Tarot with an Attitude deck for tarot. Yes, we're compiling the artwork. We're trying to do it without getting another artist involved. We're looking at it. Gillian is very art, or I wanted to say artsy fartsy, okay, but she is very art. She has a degree in art or whatnot, so she loves that. Me doing the interpretations, looking at it, bringing it all together. We are working very closely with each other on this, and we've already got several pieces of the deck in the artwork put together. So we're going to be out there on Kickstarter with this deck, hopefully this year. That's our goal. Okay. And it would be great. I would love to see it. And it is. It's Tarot with an Attitude. And what's funny is we're already coming up with ideas for like a Florida sailing deck, a Florida, different things. As we see different artwork, we're putting things aside. So we'd like to do that too. And that's really, one of the things that we find is very, very, if you can get somebody involved, if you get in a group or you can get with some people that read tarot, like-minded souls or whatnot, you can learn and pick up a lot, and it's very important, to try to do that. We're going to grow our food geothermally. Okay. Now help the old man out here, Ryan. What does she mean by that?
That could mean different things. So what do you mean by that? Are you saying
okay, thank you. You made me feel better. Okay. So what does that mean, Indigo? Tell us what geothermally grow our food. Is this more of
is it like
a greenhouse effect or what? Is there something there that we're not understanding? So so Dolores is asking when you were back talking about the scalable portion of the house. Scalable from what?
Scalable in reference to itself. So scalable means you could have, depending on what the developer. So if it's a franchise, right? Imagine we'll use something fun as an example. Imagine you franchise into a McDonald's, right? You could have the big McDonald's in Orlando, or you could have a regular McDonald's. So it depends on what the developer. That's their community, and they're your houses, right? It's just the model we're giving you. So it's a safe name. So you know you're not moving into a off-grid cult, and you have to provide the sustainable stuff, and you get access to our proprietary models. So
there you go.
Scalable would mean you could have a multi-million-dollar community, or you could have a community of like yurts that you could Airbnb, like modernized yurts. You know what I mean? Like that can fit family of 4. And what that is to give them the ability to scale up if they want, have a life of abundance, but buy in where you can, or because we want to use these to produce more in the economy, build the economy, like what Florida's doing right now.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And that again, it's understanding it's not a one size fits all thing. We're trying to make it where everybody can be. I want to be in on this. I want to be part of it. Kim, I want to know, is there something particular you want me to read around? Do you want a general reading? I would love to do a reading for you. Okay. I know you've got a lot going on. So is there a place of focus? You don't have to get into detail. Or do you want me to just start with what's popping up? I'll give you a few minutes to put some stuff in, see what's going on there, and we'll let it pop up. Tarot with an Attitude deck, awesome. I will be looking forward to that. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. It is going to be cool. Tammy, Devil's Den for the Death card, Rob. Wouldn't that be something? What a wonderful place that is. Ryan, have you been to Devil's Den yet?
I don't know if I have. Where's that at?
It's over Williston, outside of Williston. Okay. Devil's Den, it's a spring that you're only allowed in there for so long because it's actually a covered spring. You've got to go down into like a cave to get in there. And the spring is there. What I don't like about it is the last time I knew, it was privately owned. So it was really, and I don't know if resources like that should ever be privately owned, but it is. But it's a very cool place. You need to go see it when you're over there. First springs you got to go see, to me, is always Manatee Springs, one of the most beautiful springs in the state of Florida. Great place to swim, some beautiful creatures there, different things or whatnot. Then right up the road from there towards Fannin Springs is Fanning Springs and Otter Springs. Head out that way. There's so many springs in that Levy County, Marion County, Alachua, Dixie County area, Gilchrist County. People don't really realize what parts of Florida can do. You can be on the beach, you could be in a massive city, and an hour later you're out in the middle of the woods in a spring. It's just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that would be good. I want you to remind me of that. Kim, she's asking for something of what's popping up. Let's see what's going on. We'll bring that out, find out what's happening, and we will see where we are. Kim, I'm going to pull. Give me just a second because I'm trying to zero in on which deck to use, and I just had an idea. You're going to be getting 3 different decks. All right, we're going to start here. What situation? I'm going to ask about the situation. What situation does Kim need to be concerned with? The situation that is talking right now. Where is it at? What's going on? Remember, tarotwithanattitude.com. Book a session, buy a gift certificate. Those things are happening. Class is coming. Look down below. Drop the old man a donation or whatnot, but book a session. Ryan, I redid all my prices too, man. So an hour is like $40. People are like, you cut it too low, But I just wanted to I felt like people needed to be able to
make it available.
For some people that needed to talk to me just needed that more available. So check it out. So Kim, here we go. You know what I'm going to do, Kim? Give me just a second. All right. I am going to. A lot of times I drink cold water or hot lemon and tea or coffee. It helps me recenter, come back to here and get my thoughts. Kind of one of those mindfulness exercises things. So we're going to be talking about, Kim, what is the situation? Okay. Is the first question we're going to have come up. And here we go. 6 of Wands. And you know what? This is about becoming victorious, breaking free. I know one of the big things that's going on in your life, and I see y'all coming together and loving it, that this is a breakthrough. You're finally going to get to stand in the spotlight and be, I did it. You need to look and make sure you're doing what you need to do. This is a situation. Are you going to be able to handle everything that's going on? Think it through, write all aspects down, how far away things are, different things or whatnot. But the Six of Wands is really talking about you being in the spotlight. People are going to be looking at you and some different things. You're going to be center point to making something work. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, what is a challenge that you're looking at in this situation? What is something you need to do, okay, or need to be aware of wherever this is going? So we're going to bring this out, and there's going to be some more cards. Let's see what's happening. So the challenge, establishing a new base. This is the challenge. You're moving away from things, moving away. You are used to being in the center of everything. And this challenge for you may not be right away, but what I'm seeing is moving away and establishing a good solid base. This may be something you have wanted to do, but is it something you're going to be happy with a year and a half from now? That's what's going on. When you give, you also receive. Being resilient to change. This is going to be huge. Extremes in how you save or spend money. But you notice here, one of the things I'm picking up, we've got Ariel. This is in our physical presence, our physical world. Kim, this is the challenge, okay? Make sure you have a full understanding. Make sure you know what you're going to do with this and how you're going to handle it. So I see a change. It is a change in the home. It's a change in location, but it's also a change in lifestyle. You need to make sure that that's coming up, and this is presenting as a challenge for you. Now I'm going to ask, what do you do to overcome this challenge? And let's see what's happening, okay? All right. Kim, overcoming this challenge so you can be fruitful, so you can live your life, feel fulfilled, things like that. All right, here we go. All right. Because feeling fulfilled for you is going to be massive. You're going to have to focus on the sun. This card, and it came reversed, and I got to bring it up, okay? Be careful that you got to find this joy within you. It's not something that's just about somebody else. It's not something about an ideal. You have to be where this is going to be something huge, that you are going to be able to find the sun, because if you're not careful, you're going to get lost, all right? And the sun's not going to shine. So this is there are some radical things going on. I want you to be careful. And when I see this card inverted, it's a caution to me. Make sure you are going to be happy with this decision. This is what you're doing. This is how you hit this challenge, is to remember your ultimate goals, your ultimate dreams, where you are headed with this. And if you can do that, you'll be fine. Things will happen. Things will go good. I'm going to bring these cards into play. The Empress. You can grow whatever you want to grow. Okay? You can build whatever you're going to want to build, but it's going to be you making sure you build something that you're going to be happy with. And family has been a big thing for you. So you need to understand how family is playing in here with this decision. And I think it's worrying you a little bit. So have this discussion, really get down to it and find out what's going on. The 10 of Gabriel. Ask your angels for helpful people. You don't have to go this huge thing alone, okay? It's a passion and it's a desire. But the 10 is talking about, all right, you're going to achieve it, but then the whole cycle begins. Remember, I remind people, relationships and different things can be like buying a new car. When somebody buys a car, Ryan, remember buying your first car or getting that first car that is, I'm right there with you, buddy. I'm there. So we're going to be calling this in a little bit. But I want you to understand, Kim, what I tell people here is, even in relationships, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're not smoking in the car. We're not eating in the car. We're not drinking in the car. This is our new best thing. 6 months later, you're throwing French fries at the kid in the back seat, yelling him to shut the hell up. You just spilt your Starbucks because it's a car. It's a car. And it's not fulfilling to your happiness. It's happy that you have a car that you can depend on. And that's what I'm seeing here for you, is make sure that this is a happiness. This is a transformation. This is a big thing. And you're going to, working too many hours, trying too hard to please others. You and I have talked before about it's time to make yourself happy. So you have to realize, do you know what you want to be happy? Okay. And sometimes that's telling our children, telling other people, this is about me right now. That's what I see. That's what I see big for you. 5 of Raphael. It's going to be some conflict. All right. There's going to be some things that you're going to be angry about. And there are going to be some things that aren't going to make you happy. Okay. Everything happens for a reason. Release regret. Are you going to be able to do this with no regret? That's what I'm telling you. Okay. You get there and you can do this with no regret. Fire on. Bangarang. Go make it happen. All right. So that's what I have for you, Kim. Let me know. You want to talk to me, get up with Gillian and whatnot, and we'll go into a lot more detail about it and see what's going on. So, Ryan, I tell you what, it's been a long night. We're already going on 7:30, You got anything else that you wanted to discuss or whatnot?
My card for the show.
Okay. Spend more time outdoors. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What does that mean to you?
I just kind of like, community gatherings outdoors, like we were saying. I felt like it just kind of really summarized what we were talking about this whole show. The communities in general, the communities are just, it's just communities in general, bringing back, changing the way we live, the way our environment is structured, It can be anything. It could be community cities, literally. It can be anything. The sky's the limit. Amazon started as a bookstore in a garage.
Right. Absolutely. It's amazing what we can do. And you know what about being outside? I want to tell people this from a mental health standpoint. People don't even think about it. But when depression starts to set in, one of the first things we start doing is stop going outside. We find a reason not to do anything. We hermitize. We come in. We close off. We enjoy being in a very tight little cubicle because we feel safe in it. Okay? There's a reason that going outside is a scientific method of helping depression. Staying out in that sun, absorbing that energy, seeing that life is going on around you. It is massive. Brian, thank you for that card. I appreciate that card because it is huge. We get cooped up in our jobs. Then we run home. We're cooking for the kids, everything else. And the only time we spent outside was running to the damn car. There's a whole world out there, folks. How many times do we not even open the window? Do we not even open the blinds? Go outside. I think there's healing in there for the world if we would all. I just remember, Ryan, you don't remember these. You were way too young. But Kim will, a few other people will. There was a day when the Coke ads, especially around Christmas, the Coca-Cola ads, you looked forward to them. They were inspirational. They were driving. And people would be outside sharing light and singing a song I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. It was only a little bit about Coke. It was about people getting together, and it made people feel better. There's a reason we don't see those ads anymore. Okay? That's one of those things, and that's what's going on. Kim Cowser, great info. Think about it. I will be doing a lot outside in my new place, basically living off the grid, living off our land. They are, it's a big thing though, because she is a grandma through and through. Okay. She goes and she wants to be around those grandkids. But some of that was just saying, make sure that you can get to where you need to go. Look at all aspects of it. I knew some of that was what was at play in there, but that whole love angle and that whole, and do you enjoy being inside? Because I know where you're going. Holy crap. Okay. So that's what's going on. So we had your card, everybody. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Ryan, I appreciate we got to do this more often. Okay.
Definitely.
We got to do this more often. So, and Ryan's going to be doing an interview with me pre-recorded. So for his show, when it gets started, it'll be out there. The Rev will be there and we'll be talking again. We'll let you all know when that is because I want you to go find Ryan and support him and help him with his channel, just like you have done with mine. I certainly appreciate everybody here. All right, everybody. Anything you want to say before you go, Ryan?
I don't think I have it. I think, yeah, the card was it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, everybody, as I say always, remember this. Take what you want. Leave what you don't. It's okay. But leave having experienced some peace, love, and light. Bangarang! Go make your life happen.